Snoop, we all felt a certain type of way, man. You know what I mean? Sometimes when you do something, you got to pay the piper, man. So, her, like I said yesterday, Mike, her and Oprah, they got to stop cooning, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then Michael Dyson came out with that bullshit.
We're gonna
okay,
get to that in a second.
All right, yeah, but I just, I don't know, man.
Well, what you say, Nick?
I mean, honestly, I feel like, especially because Kobe can't defend himself, right? So
that's the part.
Why are we speaking on this after he passes? I mean, we could have been talking about this for the last 10 to 15 years since it happened. I mean, I don't think we should cancel her, but at the same time, you got to hold people accountable. I mean, especially we don't want to tear each other down. So we got to be conscious about how we speak about one another and make sure that we're not tarnishing each other's legacy. You know what I mean?
But go on, brother.
Well, first, Snoop Dogg sounded like he was just back in the set, like he was really on the street right there. Like, I'm like, dang, he just flashed back like 30 years. He was really wilding. But I think just regarding Gayle, I think it was out of line to bring it up. Especially right at this moment. That's tough.
It's only been 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's not the time and place for that. And I don't know. We don't really know the whole setup. With the questions she has to ask, or the production behind everything. Who knows?
Well, she said it was taken out of context. It was a bigger interview.
Yeah, and they only showed that.
And CBS backed their story, basically saying that a lot of it was a wide-ranging interview. And so to your point, she said it was taken out of context.
Yeah,
why bring it up?
She said that, but the way she extended things, though,
exactly.
Nah.
To kind of egg it on.
She egged it on, oh, but that was because this happened and he was only innocent because they settled it. Like, nah, you didn't have to say all that.
But what we was talking about, did Snoop go too far? And I'm gonna be honest. I don't think he went too far.
You don't think so?
No, because he didn't go. Let me tell you something. When you riding down on somebody, I don't think he wasn't talking like that's his lady. You know what I mean? He was talking like, sometimes you got to get harsh. You know what I mean? You got to get harsh with people. Let them know, hey, peep this out. We ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? So what should he called her?
No,
you know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing. Look, like I said, I like Snoop. I've interviewed Snoop. Been knowing Snoop for a long period of time. What Gayle did, I think, as a journalist, she brought it up, and the way she brought it up in her perspective, as if people have said, blah, 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 the first question. I thought the second question was out of line when she said, well, you wouldn't know because you're his friend.
Yeah.
That was what she went a little too far. But the last question, the last question, when she said something, should we be even been talking about it because of this, I think Lisa handled everything perfectly right there. So, but the reaction, I understand people in our community, because it's still raw and we love Kobe so much, getting upset. But once again, you can say, you wrong, Donny. You wrong, Yaman. You shouldn't have done that. Why'd you bring it up? But when we start calling our black women bitches, hoes, and should we ride up on them and threaten them like that? This woman has had to get security. You heard Oprah Winfrey crying today, saying that she's concerned, she's scared. I mean, look, this is... Somebody could actually take that seriously and actually ride up on this one.
I think, I've been on some TV shows, and it's sometimes, people are real opinionated, and death threats is not a cool thing. I mean,
I most definitely don't want her to get hurt.
Yeah.
We don't want her to get hurt. We don't want none of that to happen to her. You know what I mean? We just want to chastise her a little bit and let it be over with. I think she should come out and say sorry. You know what I mean? That'd be the best thing to do. And we all forget about it because we're forgiving people, like we said yesterday. We'll forget about, okay, Gayle, you made a mistake, and let's leave it alone. But she has to come out and say sorry.
Yeah. She came out and tried to explain a little bit.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it might be better to handle that behind social media, just kind of. You don't think?
No, because you said it in public, you gotta come out and do it the right way.
A lot of people really appreciate that public acknowledgement, like, yo, I messed up.
Yeah. But I mean, as far as going so hard in public, right? I mean, because that's only perpetuating those stereotypes about our own.
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah,
he hard, dog.
Yeah, he did.
But you know what, Mike? I think they Oprah to really, like, she fueled the fire from all the other stuff with the Michael Jackson and all that.
Yeah.
And people know she's related. I mean, she's connected to
It might
Oprah.
be a build-up.
It might be a build-up with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because people are really mad at Oprah, too, but they not speaking on Oprah like
It's
that.
almost like guilty by association.
Exactly,
Now,
guilty
you
by
said something about
association.
Michael Eric Dyson, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
you got that, brother.
Yeah, you want to talk to go to the clip now?
Yeah, you do that, brother.
Okay, all right. So
Yeah.
Michael Eric Dyson came out talking about the reaction that Gayle is getting, being under fire and whatnot. And here's what he had to say, a message to us black people.
I find it just too rich and even ironic that rappers are speaking out, some of whom I love, against Gayle King, using horrible invective against her, not understanding that we have poisoned the well of perception of black women and black people far more than anything that Gayle King and Oprah Winfrey have done.
So that's what Michael Eric Dyson had to say about it. Isn't it kind of counterproductive because one of our own went after somebody, and now we're going after that person? We brought this up on the show yesterday, and you mentioned saying, you know what, sometimes we got to hold each other accountable, which we do as black people, but sometimes we go a little too far, and if we continue to make that cycle happen, is it productive for us at all?
But you know, Mike, he said we are being accountable, whatever he just said about we using bad language toward her. But dog, he said he loved rappers. Well, talk about all the women that be called bitches and hoes and you know, in that nature. Like, just because she's at a high level, don't just like she's like what am I trying to say? Like she's above everybody else. Like we have to hold when we say bitches and hoes to everybody else too. You know what I mean? It's like we just can't single Snoop out just cause he called her a bitch. They should stop saying calling bitches hoes on a record. Period.
But
if we're gonna do it like that, let's don't do it like that, man.
But isn't that the irony too? We talk about 25 years ago, we're defending Snoop because other black people were coming after him. Like they had a lot of church groups, a lot of, I can't think of the lady's name in Harlem that was coming after rolling over his CDs or whatever because of his freedom of speech or whatnot. So, you know, we kind of, like I said, it's kind of counterproductive. When you go against me, I go against you. And when somebody kind of steps out of line or doesn't go with the same, program that black people are going with, we start throwing names out. And I know you threw out the name Coon or, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes it's a little too far.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, at some point, it's got to stop somewhere, right? So if we're going to progress as black people, as black folks in the community, I mean, we got to draw the line between, all right, are we holding this person accountable or are we only just adding to the fuel and making it worse, right? So it's got to be put out at some point.
Yeah, and you also mentioned, you said sometimes we got to spank somebody if somebody's doing something wrong. And okay, if you spanking somebody for doing something wrong, and we're going to hold ourselves accountable for. Look, I know I'm going to get some feedback from this.
Right.
Wasn't that what Oprah was kind of doing when she came out and basically holding, like if Russell was accused of something, not that I'm saying he did anything wrong, or Michael, I also believe that she should go after the Harvey Weinsteins of the world.
But she hasn't been doing it.
You also should do that.
Right.
But also like the Jay-Z's, some people have built up equity, right? In our community, have done so many great things for black people, and then they step out of line one time and we are ready to cancel them.
Yeah. I just think, as a black culture, as a black community, we are just too quick to crucify one another. Like, it's like immediate. Like as soon as somebody steps out, it's like boom, nah, that's it. Like cancel them. It's like hold on, people make mistakes. At the same time, we do got to hold them accountable. But at the same time, we got to hold them accountable appropriately.
Right.
We can't just be all sideways out the neck coming at you. Like come on, like then whoever needs to be held accountable not going to receive it properly.
Exactly.
I'm going to start feeling offended now if people are talking to me crazy. I'm like, no, hell no, blah, blah, blah,
Right.
So it's all about, we gotta slow down a little bit, slow the train down on the crucifixion. We gotta slow it down, man. And
Correct, not convict.
Exactly. There's a proper way to give constructive criticism. You know what I'm saying? You can criticize somebody without having to go so hard that you're demoralizing that person. You know what I'm saying? It's not constructive at that point.
Right.
What's going to be constructive is letting them know where they fucked up, you know what I'm saying? And then, helping them along the way, getting them to understand. I mean, they'll understand if you go hard, but it's like now you're also making them feel some type of way about you, rather than thinking that you just
like
care.
Vendetta towards
you know, so
especially on first-time offenders, man. If you're a first-time offender, I understand Gayle had to, associated with Oprah, but everything she built up, you know how it is in the criminal code. It goes probation, it goes prison, and then it goes execution.
No, not
it can't
always.
just.
Not all the time.
It ain't a murderous offense. Like some people, there are some people in the black community that, like Candace Owens, you know what I mean? Right. That always are going against the grain. We don't hear anybody going against them.
I respect you like I respect you like hell. But if you do something to a child, I'm going all the way in on you. Now, if you talk about a dead man, I'm going all the way in on you. You know what I mean? So some things you just got to smack up. It's no coming at you real soft. No, we ain't coming at you real soft. She deserved to go hard on, and that's what I feel. And Snoop did what he had to do, and he caught everybody's attention. We talking about it.
Right.
Apologize, and let's be over with it.
Right.
That's all you have to do. Period.
Okay, well, hopefully we can be over it. One last point on this whole thing. So we're going in on Gayle and, for what she said about that. What's the name of the Washington Post reporter that came out the day after and wrote articles about Kobe's
the white
conviction? Yeah, well, she's a white woman.
Yeah.
What's her name? What's her name?
Yeah, you got a point.
Okay. What's the name of the comedian that came out in Charlotte and said what he said about Kobe?
Saw that. Don't know his name though.
Okay, we don't. Well,
I went hard at the TV.
No, we go, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, so we got to share the vitriol. Share the vitriol. Don't just not just take it out on us. Because you know what? When we take it out on us, guess what happens? Everybody else that isn't us, they're watching us destroy one another. You know what I mean? So once again, like you said, smack that ass real quick. You did wrong. Go to your room for a second. We're going to put you on punishment, Auntie Gayle. We're going to let you come back out.
Yeah, that's it.
We're going to let you come back out. But the whole thing about, this bitch and let me roll up on him, come on, man.
Well, he shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, let's not do that. All right, let's move on. Speaking of ending beefs, man, so 50 Cent, this man is always beefing with somebody, right? So apparently he's ended his beef with Wendy Williams. Everybody know who Wendy Williams is, right? I was actually on Wendy Williams' show
What
today.
was you doing? What?
Oh, man, she was talking about some stuff that's going to happen on Housewives on Sunday. I'll talk about it on Monday. But Wendy Williams, he actually had some positive things to say about Wendy because Wendy had some positive things to say about him in his new series. He's got a new series on ABC called For Life. You guys seen the previews for this about this guy who's a drug kingpin, wrongly convicted, came out as a lawyer and all that. So 50 has promised to end beefs after the death of Kobe. He said he's going to be a nicer guy or whatever. First of all, do we believe 50 Cent when he says that?
Nope.
Nope.
No, he chose his words wisely. He chose his words wisely. He said, I'm just not going to argue no more. He said, I'm gonna go about it a different way. I'm done with the argument. You gotta pay attention to 50, man. That means I'll beef with you, but it's just gonna be a little different way.
I'm trying to figure that out. What kind of different ways could 50 be beefing with somebody?
You can beef. You can do some sign language. All types of
So let me ask you, Drano. Have you ever sent a message without without actually having to say something to somebody?
Yeah, I send a lot of messages to people.
With the wink.
We ain't gonna talk about that.
We ain't gonna talk about that. Get your thoughts on that.
I don't know if I believe 50, man.
Yeah, okay.
I know as soon as Floyd Mayweather say something, that's him and Floyd. It's always something going on.
But Floyd never say
Very
nothing back.
entertaining though.
What's going on, champ?
But Floyd never say nothing back. Floyd's so smooth. Floyd don't say nothing back.
I've seen Floyd post some stuff.
No, when Floyd cap back, he cap back with facts.
Some hard
facts. We ain't gonna talk about that.
If Floyd say something, 50 back.
Yeah. Nick, your feelings?
50's King Petty, man.
He is King Petty.
He's the petty champ. So, I don't know. I don't really believe it, but you can't. When something like that tragic happens, everybody wants to kind of do better and do things a little bit different. So, it's not surprising.
But 50 not only he's petty and comes after people, he holds grudges for a long period of time. 50 is like the black Donald Trump.
Hold on now.
When it comes to that.
But is that a marketing scheme for 50? It's a marketing scheme for him, right? It's good marketing for him.
I don't know what he's marketing for. He got all the money.
He wants more. You know what I mean? Ain't enough money. What's enough money?
I feel
Facts.
You want that money.
that bread.
I mean, that's the thing. If I had that much money, like, I wouldn't be trying to argue with nobody. Like, for what? Like,
His memes do.
He does it for sport.
They're funny, right?
It is very.
Hear what he just said?
What?
He said
does it
he
for
does it for
sport.
sport.
that's true.
Okay.
It's fun
Right.
to him.
So has 50 become more popular for his music or because of his trolling these days?
Trolling.
These
now.
days, it's the troll.
I think it depends on the generation. You know.
Okay.
Like, I know there's generation below us, younger than us. I think it's probably more so for the trolling and what you would probably call cooning or know. But us, I feel like we know him for his for his albums, classics. I mean, legend, living legend. His movies, Get Rich or Die Trying. That's more so what we know him for. But nowadays,
the EP of Power.
Exactly.
I can't wait to see For Life as well.
Man.
Hey, and hopefully, if 50's listening, man, I'm disappointed you had to cancel Power, man. That's my favorite show. But,
Man, bro.
you know.